Hi, thanks for clicking on this video. So I just got home from seeing Jurassic World Dominion. I don't want to call it Jurassic Park Dominion. I just got done seeing it. I will find out if this is going to be a spoiler review or not. I'm just going to talk, see what I have to say, and then label the video properly when it's all said and done. What did I think? What did I think? Um, it's my possibly my second least favorite Jurassic Park movie after Jurassic Park 3. But I mean, it would be a wide berth, like Jurassic Park 3, Dominion. I don't know. I think it might be the weakest of this trilogy. Um, Only because it shouldn't have been part of this trilogy. So the basic plot of this movie, well, the plots, because there are two plots, which is how this 2.5 hour movie is made up, is you spend the vast majority of time following two different plots until they inevitably collide into each other, thereby resolving one plot entirely and leaving the other plot as your through line for the last hour of the movie. Because it takes a long time for them to bring the original cast with the new cast. So the Jurassic Park cast and the Jurassic World cast, it takes a long time to bring them all together in one place. So this movie was advertised as like being, Jurassic World. It is now the world, and we have this huge world where dinosaurs and humans have to live together, and that's what this movie's gonna be. And that's not what this movie was. It very quickly went back to going, it's the world. It's an animal preserve. Yeah, so they end up in a biocene animal preserve, which isn't a spoiler. It's just where they end up. It's a huge part of one of the plots. Um, but yeah, they end up in an animal preserve ran by Biozine, who are the company that sent um, Wayne Knight's character Nedry, Dennis Nedry, in the original Jurassic Park. They're the company that sent him with the Barbasol can. And literally, my favorite parts of this movie are Lewis Dodson and any callback they made to Dennis Nedry and Jurassic Park. Those were my favorite parts of this movie. So those I'm not going to spoil because they're just one of them was just Lewis Dodson being in the movie because we haven't seen this character since Jurassic Park, where he speaks with Nedry before he goes off to the island. We haven't seen him since then, so just seeing him was one of those moments. And then there are two moments towards the end which got a pop out of me for because they were references. Those were my favorite parts. Those were my favorite parts. I mean, Sam Neill, um, Jeff Goldblum, and the actress that played Ellie Statler, whose name just totally blanks my mind. I just cannot think of it. They're all really good. I really like them. They have the most interesting. They have the more interesting of the two plots. Um, because the two plots are for our OG characters. So those three. Um, Ellie is investigating a group of locusts that have been genetically altered that are destroying crops. Um, she goes to Grant to go with her to the biocene facility to find out if they're the ones creating it because they're not eating biocene crops. They're only eating non-biocene crops. So that looks suspicious. So she wants to go investigate, and she wants Alan to go with her. And Ian Malcolm is working at Biozine, and he is how they get to Biozine. Um, which was already the first red flag that this movie wasn't about dinosaurs all over the world, is because these characters basically spend the entire movie on the Biozine Island, an animal preserve. That is where they live in this movie. The other plot featuring the Jurassic World characters, so Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and the clone kid, is that the clone kid and Blue's child, Blue has had a child that's in the trailers. Blue's child and the clone from the previous movie, the human clone, are kidnapped and are inevitably brought to the Biozine facility where Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard follow. And those are, as they try to rescue them. Um, that storyline is the one that's resolved the minute all the characters come together because they have reunited with their quote unquote daughter. That's the end of that storyline. These are the characters who have pushed 2 movies in this series, and their storyline ends with about an hour of this movie left. And for them, it's just escaping at that point. There's no greater storyline, whereas our OG character storyline of proving it's Biozine that's creating these locusts continues on. It continues on to the end of the movie. I like the respect for the OG characters, but I feel like if you don't have a strong plot for the Jurassic World characters, other than the fact that Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard probably had 3-picture deals for this series, I don't see a point of why they were brought back. It wasn't like their interactions with the old group, with Malcolm, Statler, and Grant, was really fun. There were some great interactions. The movie picks up for me a lot in that last hour. Because not only that, but the other references are in the references I really liked are in there too. And just their interactions are good. They're good interactions, but it takes too long to get there. I would have liked more of that. I would have liked them to be interacting maybe halfway through the movie, and then we get them as a group figuring something out for the rest of the movie. That's what I would have liked, and that's not what we got. We got instead these 2 storylines and about an hour of everyone working together to escape and get the evidence of Biozine's wrongdoings. But yeah, so again, you end up back it's basically an animal preserve is where you end up, and they're showing realistic dinosaurs of how they should actually look because they've stopped making them park friendly and just started to, because they're still genetically making dinosaurs. This isn't just they're capturing the ones that are all over the world. They're actually making more, which also hit me as like, who's allowing this? What government is saying, oh yeah, you can keep making more of these things that are destroying our ecosystem. Just keep go do it. Thumbs up. I don't know who's saying it, but yeah. They introduce 2 new characters into the lore, and because they're introducing 2 new characters, any other character who appeared in the first 2 Jurassic World movies are basically shunted to cameos, including Blue. Blue is basically a cameo in this movie, because obviously they kidnap Blue's kid. Blue, being a raptor, can't really go on the adventure. As much as Blue was an important part of the last 2 movies, basically Blue is sent into a cameo, and Blue's story is moved to like a B plot. Not even a well-written B plot. Like, that's my biggest problem with the Jurassic World storyline in this movie, is just because it's not fleshed out. Like, they kidnap Blue's kid, and they kidnap the clone girl, but they never explain why. Like, B.D. Wong, his character explains why. He explains why he wants them. He wants them to figure out how to stop the locusts. That's why he wants them. But we never figure out why Dodson and Biozine want them. Like, he said it cost them so much money to get them, to have them abducted. But he never explains what his dastardly plan is once he has them. Like, he says, oh, we're trying to cure cancer, and we're trying to do this, we're trying to do that. But those all seem real, and he makes it sound like they're all real altruistic, because he's saying it to Statler and Grant when they first show up at the Biozine headquarters as Malcolm's guests. So I don't know. You never know. I don't know why he wanted them, but he wanted them real bad, and he paid a lot of money to have them. So it's just a weird plot point, because he makes it clear he doesn't care that the locusts are going to eat all of the food, that they can't be stopped right now. He doesn't care. Therefore, what B.D. Wong's character, Wu, Dr. Wu wants, has nothing to do with what he wants. But you never know what he wants. So it just made that plot seem even less important and more just, this is happening just because a writer decided they wanted it to happen. But yeah, we're introduced to 2 new characters, in the 3rd movie who are supposed to... I hate that. Like, I get it, you have to introduce, like, new sub-characters sometimes when you get to a third movie in a trilogy, if you know it's a trilogy, but it should just focus on the main character. You shouldn't be adding like new main characters. Especially again, it's at the detriment to every other main character who appear, or even side characters who appear. The two people who are helping in Fallen Kingdom, they're both in the movie, but they're in the beginning of the movie, and then Justice Smith has one more scene later in the movie, and that's it. That's all they do. Owen's partner from Fallen Kingdom from Jurassic World shows up for a cup of coffee in this movie, and then disappears. Some of the scientists from Jurassic World make appearances in photos. That's about it. It's also very unclear what the hell who Wu has worked for this entire time. Like, I'm not sure if Biozine bought him after the events of the previous movie, or if he's always been working for them. It's very unclear. It's a very unclear plot point in this movie. But yeah, but the new characters they introduced, they're fine. They're fine characters. It's hard to want to get to know them because again, we're at the third part of a trilogy. Like, how much do we want to get to know them? And one of them is presented as like he's just a side character, and that's fine. Like a new side character, that's fine. And then he becomes a main character. All of a sudden, he just jumps to the main character status. I'm like, oh, don't jump him. He was fine. He was a fine support character. He adds to the plot, but again, I just don't care. I just don't care about him. And the other character is a pilot who is taking Grady and Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard to the Biozine Island. She's a pilot they meet. I mean, again, this should just be the pilot character that shows up, takes them to where they gotta go, and then leaves. Simple character. It's an easy character. It's a relatable character. But they keep her around for the rest of the movie. She stays there and hangs out with them and really doesn't do anything. I think what really bothered me is both of these characters were African American. Not that I have a problem with them being cast as African American, but it really looks like they only added these characters in and cast them as African American so they could have color in the movie. Because otherwise it was a real white cast other than B.D. Wong. So it bothers me. It bothers me that that's what it looks like, is that they tried to shoehorn in, that they actually pushed away two characters of color, because Justice Smith and the other character from Fallen Kingdom, and also Grady's partner from Jurassic World, all characters of color, all pushed away so they could focus on these two new characters of color. So it's just weird. It's just weird, and it's a little mind-boggly, because it just seems like they shoehorned in these new characters so they could have this. Overall, like I said, it might be. I probably need to watch it again in retrospective with Fallen Kingdom to figure out which one I'd put as my fifth and fourth in a ranking of Jurassic Park movies or this franchise. But yeah, those are my thoughts. If you want to check it out, check it out. I checked it out and I wasn't thrilled by it, but everyone has their own opinions, so go see it and make your own. All right, I'm Martin Prevost. This is Rank the Movies, and I will talk to you later.